Hello. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of BigTalk. I'm your host here, Aben, and today I want to talk a little bit about self-knowledge. There comes a point in life where people become self-evaluating, right? And they ask themselves, who am I and what am I doing with my life in general? And then some people will design some sort of plan, right? We know these guys. They have a New Year's resolution, right? They're repeating this mantra that they've heard over and over again in their heads. They set some goals, some short-term goals. And for most, they'll start this mission, but they never really finish it. Now, there are many reasons why they don't finish it, right? Some will talk about inconsistency. Some will talk about, being stuck in your ways. But I think that the most overlooked, possibly the most prevalent reason that people are not able to stick and accomplish these goals is because they don't want it bad enough. And what I mean by that is that these goals that they have in mind, this light at the end of the tunnel, this prize that they're going to get as a reward for all their efforts, is not something that they want at all. What I'm saying is that people can set a goal and work towards that goal, but in reality, they don't want that goal or that prize at all. I mean, how can you really expect someone to do their best in a task if the reward is something that doesn't really interest them or satisfy them? So this begs the question, how do I set realistic goals with rewards that are actually for me? And I think that all starts with knowledge of self, right? You have to know who you are and what you want in the most unfiltered way, aka you have to remove your mask. Now, when I say mask, I'm referring to the act of an individual conforming or adapting themselves to fit a certain social setting, right? To abide by a certain social construct, right? We all have a part of ourselves that we are at home, right? We are this person when no one's around, and we're this person when we go to bed at night, right? And then we have parts of ourselves that, let's say, we exaggerate or show more to the world in different settings. So, for example, if I'm in church, I may not curse as much. I may, wear a fancy outfit that I normally wouldn't wear. If I'm at a job interview, I may be speaking more clearly. I may be using bigger words, right? Bigger words in my vocabulary. I may be sitting with better posture, right, than I normally would. If I'm out with friends, maybe I seem a bit more humorous, right? I laugh at things that aren't necessarily funny to me, but, to fit along with that dynamic of the group, I may laugh at things that I don't normally laugh at. You get it, right? So the basis of this is not being 100% genuine and true to yourself. It's adapting yourself and changing essentially your behaviors and who you are outside and inside of your head based upon the perceptions of others. In other words, wearing a mask is kind of the most common form of living a lie, in that you are living in a way that is not true to you. You're living in a way that's designed to make others approve of you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's within the constructs of your true identity. I think it's very well understood that living a life that is solely based on the approval of others is not a very desirable life. So we've explained what the mask is, right? So how do we take this thing off, right? How do we remove our mask? I like to say that removing the mask is like finding a lost, sunken treasure in the sea, right? Or being like Indiana Jones and finding some treasure out in a cave in the jungle or something like that, right? So the first thing is that you have to find it, aka you have to go to that place where your true self lies. Now, maybe this is a place that you've been before and it's just painful to go there. It's uncomfortable to go there. Or maybe this is a place that's new to you, right? It's mysterious. It's a hidden land that you've never been to, but you have to go to that place where you are inside yourself. And the second thing you have to do is you have to remove the overburden, right? You have to scrape away the accumulated debris. If I go deep sea diving Maybe I'm scared of the dark, but I have to go to that dark place to get that treasure chest. And I have to remove all the seaweed and dirt and things that have accumulated over the treasure box in order to uncover it. If I'm in the jungle, I have to cut away at all those plants and roots and grass that have grown over the treasure chest. I have to remove that overburden. I have to remove the accumulated debris. In this case, this is removing any fear of judgment and moving more toward a place of acceptance. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that, I found out who I am and I really don't like that person. Why should I accept that? Right? I'm not saying accept who you are as in if you look at yourself in the mirror and you find yourself and you don't like that person. It's not to say that you have to live a life according to the constructs of being that person. I'm saying that you have the power to change it, but you can't really fix an issue if you haven't first identified it, right? Recently I was talking to someone at work, and the person I was talking to on paper is extremely successful, right? Person is very, very intelligent. They have a good job, good benefits, really, big family, I think, and friends. It seems like their social life is very fulfilled, right? And the person's gorgeous. This person is very, very attractive, very, very good to look at. All in all, on paper, this person seems like they have every reason to be happy, right? Every reason to not have fear, every reason to enjoy life. And in so many words, when we were talking, we were just sitting down there and talking, having, generally an honest conversation with one another. And this person said to me in so many words that, they often find themselves fighting their inner conflicts of somewhat loneliness and unhappiness by engaging with temporary happiness, right? Temporary engagements of material things, trips with friends, hanging out, etc., etc. They felt this inner conflict of loneliness and happiness, and they filled that space with other people. They filled that space with temporary things. And, while we were talking, the only thing I could really think of in my head was, man, if only you were aware that you were wearing a mask and took the conscious steps to remove it, then you would be so happy. You would all these things you would think of, this inner conflict would dissipate. If only you knew that you were wearing a mask and you just took it off, how radically would your life change? People find happiness by living a life that they want and by receiving the things that they want, right? When I say they, I mean when they take off that mask, right? The person who they truly are, that person finds peace and happiness in all those things when that person is satisfied by getting the things they want, living the life they want. But I ask this, how can one truly know their purpose? And how could one truly know what they want out of life if one does not first know themselves? So before even thinking about happiness, before even thinking about inner peace, before even thinking about satisfaction and fulfillment, I encourage anyone on this path to first seek knowledge of self, to first remove their mask. There's so much freedom in doing so. Once you remove the pressures of trying to impress people, there's just something so freeing about it, right? And this doesn't come from a place of, neglect, right? This doesn't come from a selfish place of, I don't care what people say. I don't care about people's opinions because I don't care about people, right? This does not come from a neglectful place or a selfish place. This comes from more of a self-acceptance place, right? I validate myself. I define myself. Therefore, it's not that I don't care about person A, B, and C, therefore I don't care about their opinions. It's that person A, B, and C do not define who I am. And person A, B, and C don't dictate my happiness. Therefore, what person A, B, and C feel and think about me don't really affect me because my definition doesn't come from them. When you free yourself of these shackles of the ever so demanding nature of people, you free yourself from disappointment and you find happiness. So all in all, I encourage anyone listening to this now, think about the mask you have on. Think about how uncomfortable that mask is. You can keep wearing it or you can take it off. This is Big Talk. Thank you for listening.